Hello guys, and welcome to Let's Talk. Today we are going to be studying an angel's message. So if you haven't already looked at my videos on the 3 angels message, I would say pause this video and go ahead and watch these videos, then come back, because those videos lay the foundation of what we're going to be talking about today. Also, there is study notes that go along with this video, so for my visual learners, you can go ahead and download that study notes, which corresponds with this video and might help you better understand the material better. Also, without further ado, let's get into this video. So before we get into this video, I'm going to go ahead and say a short prayer. Dear God, thank you for today. Thank you for bringing us here as we're about to study your word. Please give us the Holy Spirit to guide our studying. Please get rid of any preconceived notions or biases that we might have so that we can fully study your word for what it is. In Jesus' name I pray, amen. So today we're going to be studying Revelation chapter 14, and in Revelation chapter 14 they have special messages that will prepare us for living in the end times. And the cool thing about those messages is that the end times will not happen until these messages are fulfilled. So let's dive in, and we're going to start in Revelation 14 verse 6, and it says, "I saw another angel flying in the midst of heaven, having the everlasting gospel to preach to those who dwell on the earth, to every nation, tribe, tongue, and people." So what is the relevance of this first angel's message? So there is 2 points to consider. So the first point is the everlasting gospel, and that it must be preached to every person on the earth. So the 3 angels message really stresses the gospel and that people are saved by faith in the acceptance of Jesus Christ alone. And this is found in Acts 4 verse 10 to 12 and also John 14 verse 6. So as Christians, we have a special duty in spreading the gospel. And God has commissioned us to take the gospel to all ends of the earth. And this is found in Mark 16 verse 15. So let me just put this into perspective. So there is a Christian broadcasting radio station which is called 3ABN. And based on this picture, they have almost covered the whole world with the Christian gospel. And this is only one radio station. And I think the cool and interesting but naive part is thinking that the gospel has not been preached, or that the gospel hasn't reached the whole world. And just by looking at this one radio station's reach, there's only a few parts of the world that they haven't been able to get the gospel out yet. So God is coming soon, and we need to do our part in spreading the gospel, as this first part of the first angel message says. So let's moving on to the second part of the first angel's message, and this is found in Revelation 14 verse 7, and it says, "Saying with a loud voice, fear God and give glory to him, for the hour of his judgment has come, and worship him who made heaven and earth, the sea and springs of water." So there's 2 important takeaways from the second half of the first angel message. The first part is worship and fear God, and the second part is the hour of his judgment has come. So it is our duty to worship and fear God, and fearing God not in the sense of being afraid of him, but in the sense of respecting him and honoring his rules and precepts. Also, worship in this first angel's message is talking about worshiping God on the day that he has set out for us to worship. And as we know from Exodus 20 verse 8 to 11, that is the holy Sabbath day, the 7th day of the week, but it is the 4th commandment. Number 2 is that it says the hour of the judgment has come. So it's not saying the hour of the judgment is coming or might come later. It's saying that the hour of judgment is coming now. So right now, God is working on putting those in his book of life and those who will receive eternal death. So right now we have to work on perfecting our characters so that we are found in the book of life. Another point to note is that there will be a lot of misconceptions and deceptions brought about by Satan. One of his misconceptions is that you can only gain salvation through works. And as we know, that is not true. Salvation is a free gift given to us that we have to accept through faith. So moving on to the second angel's message. And that is found in Revelation 14 verse 8. And it says, "A second angel followed and said, 'Fallen, fallen is Babylon the Great, which made all the nations drink the maddening wine of her adulteries.'" So the first thing to note in this Bible text is that this is not talking about a physical city. This is not anything literal. It's talking about spiritual Babylon. And basically this angel's message is calling us out of spiritual apostasy. It says, stop drinking the wine of Babylon. And what it means is stop entertaining yourself with things that are not spiritual. So if we go on to Revelation 18, verse 2 to 4, it kind of explains more what this spiritual Babylon is. And it says, "And he cried mightily in a strong voice, saying, 'Babylon the Great is fallen, and become the habitations of devils, and the hold of every foul spirit, and a cage of every unclean and hateful bird. For all nations have drunk the wine of her fornication, and the kings of the earth have committed fornication with her. And the merchants of the earth are waxed rich through the abundance of her delicacies. And I heard another voice from heaven saying, Come out of her, my people, that ye be not partakers of her sin, and that ye receive not of her plagues." So basically what these verses are saying is that if we do not come out of spiritual Babylon, we will not be saved. And once again, this is not a literal Babylon. This is a spiritual system that behaved the way the old Babylon behaved. So basically, in a nutshell, the second angel's message is a plea from heaven encouraging us to come out of spiritual apostasy so that we will not be destroyed along with it. So this means come out of idol worship, come out of idolizing people, come out of putting stuff higher than God. It says it's also talking about come out of disrespecting the Sabbath. Honor the Sabbath. And as we know, as Babylon, they had many gods. They worshiped not on the holy Sabbath day. It also means leave your sexual sins and your lust, your fornication, and turn your hearts to God. And the cool thing that I like about the second angel message is not once is God judging us. Not once did he say, "Oh, you sinner, why are you in Babylon? You should know better, da 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 da." Not once is God judging us, but rather he realizes our sinful nature and that we have gone astray, and he is calling us and warning us to turn our hearts back to him before it is too late. And this message is really important because if we don't know what spiritual Babylon is, we can easily end up staying in it. So one tip that I've been trying to do is analyze my surroundings. Analyze what I watch and what I read, and analyze what I fill my mind with. So if the TV shows or the books that you're reading or the places that you're going are promoting cheating, they're promoting lust, they're promoting sexual sin, then you're engaging in spiritual Babylon. And honestly, as I said, I'm super guilty of this because I see those things as just purely entertainment. And I'm just like, how is this putting me in spiritual Babylon? But it is because God is calling us to purge our hearts, to purge our minds, so that we can heed to his word and be prepared for his second coming. So moving on to the third angel's message, which is found in Revelation 14, verse 9 to 10. And it says, "And the third angel followed them, saying in a loud voice, If any man worships the beast and his image, and receive his mark in his forehead or in his hand, the same shall drink of the wine of the wrath of God, which is poured out without mixture into a cup of his indignation. And he shall be tormented with fire and brimstone in the presence of the holy angels and in the presence of the Lamb. So basically, the third angel's message is warning us about worshiping the beast and his image and receiving the mark in our forehead or in our hand. So this is talking about the Pope and Sunday as the false day of worship. So you receive the mark of the beast if you reject God's holy Sabbath and you worship the beast Sabbath, which is when he institutes the Sunday law. The third angel, alongside the first angel, commands true worship. So it's commanding us to worship God on his true and holy Sabbath day, which, as I talked about previously, which is found in Exodus 20 verse 8 to 11, which is the fourth commandment, and the true day of worship is the seventh day of the week. And the third angel message also shows us the tragedy that will happen if you follow the beast and his image. So let's wrap this up. So the first angel message calls us to worship and fear God and to spread the gospel to the whole entire world. And once again, this fear is not of like being fearful of God, but it is out of respect. The second angel message gives us the great warning that Babylon is fallen and urges us to get out of spiritual apostasy. So this is getting away from idol worship and sexual sin and to worship God on his holy and true Sabbath day. And lastly, the third angel's message is just warning us about the beast and his day of worship, and that we should make sure that we're rejecting the beast and the Sunday law, and that we're worshiping God on his holy, true Sabbath day, once again, which is found in Exodus 20, verse 8 to 11. So not only does the Bible give us a warning through these three angels' message, but it also shows us the characteristics of those who heed to what these three angels' message are saying. And the characteristic of these people are found in Revelation 14, verse 12. And it says, "Here's the patience of the saints. Here are they that keep the commandments of God and the faith of Jesus." So let's break down what these characteristics are of the people who follow the three angels' message. So the first point to note is that they are patient. So it says those who heed the three angels' messages are patient and they commit to living a faithful life. Number two, it says, here are the patience of the saints. So they are considered saints. So those who listen and heed to the three angels' message, God considers them saints. So this means that they are holy because they have choose to be on God's side in the great controversy. So as we know, there are two sides in this great controversy. There's Satan and there's God. And they're considered saints because they have rejected Satan, rejected his mark, and rejected his Sabbath, and chose to worship God on his holy Sabbath day and to commit their lives to obeying God's commandments. The third point, it says, here are they that keep the commandments of God. So they keep the commandments of God, especially the fourth commandment. And they willingly obey God and they're happy to please him. And number four, it says, they keep the commandments of God and the faith of Jesus. So they have faith in Jesus. They realize that their only hope in these last days is to put their faith and trust in Jesus, which will help them stand firm when all the trials and tribulations come. So I hope you guys have learned something new about the angel's message, or not even learn something new, just solidify your understanding. If you do have any questions, there is a Google link form in the description box below where you can enter those questions. They are anonymous, so it doesn't collect your email or your name, and I'll definitely be able to answer your questions. Also, don't forget to tune in next week, where we are going to talk about what happens immediately after these three angels' messages. So you definitely don't want to miss this important video that'll be coming out next week. So once again, thank you for joining me on Let's Talk. Don't forget to like, share, and comment on this video. Don't forget to share with your family members and friends, and this just helps the video get out so that more people can learn about the three angels message and give their lives to Christ before it's eternally too late. So once again, thank you for joining me on Let's Talk, and we'll talk next week. Bye.